You're listening to Alternative Future Radio, home of the weird, resting place of the paranormal. Will take you to the furthest reaches of the galaxy and beyond. Strange phenomena, aliens, psychics, cryptozoology, conspiracy, holistic health, and UFOs. Alternative Future Radio, where spooky just got weird.
From the alternative to the mainstream, from the ridiculous to the sublime, ladies and gentlemen, we bring you the audio delight that is the After Hours Show with Basil and Mark.
Oh, yeah. Are you in, Basil? Are you in?
Good morning.
Good evening.
And good afternoon.
Oh, yeah. It's like, remember the theme tune to Mike Hammer?
Yeah.
Mickey's Bellinis, Mike Hammer.
That was a weird program, Stacy Keach.
Yeah, Stacy Keach is just weird generally.
He got done for cocaine a few years later.
Did you notice he got one of those cleft lips?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
He had a moustache to try and cover it
He
up.
did. It didn't work.
Wasn't very effective.
Not really.
How are you this morning?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Good.
I'm all right.
Good week?
Generally, yeah. Yeah, busy week.
Oh, busy
weekend.
Busy with guests and organising and research. Wow. It's just too much.
We've got so many people lined up. We're booked out with guests until the middle of July.
And it's pressure because they're important guests.
It's not even June and we're booked until July. What the hell's going on there? What's all that about?
I don't know.
It's After Hours, everybody. Smooth.
Hello to Europe, Africa, and the Middle East.
Particularly Saudi Arabia, who listen to us in great numbers for reasons nobody understands. Please email us and let us know.
Tell us why.
Do you know what I did the other day? I was looking at voiceover people, and I was actually going to see if I could get a voiceover done in Arabic to please our Saudi Arabian guests. You know, I found one guy who I have not got a response from yet, and that was it. They're impossible to find.
So we got the Fiscal Treaty coming up.
Fiscal Treaty, that sounds like fun.
It sounds like fun. You know, a lot of people are going to vote yes.
I think they probably are, yeah.
That's the overwhelming impression I'm getting from talking to folk.
Yeah, you might want to elaborate on what on earth the Fiscal Treaty is for anybody out there in the civilized world.
Communist takeover by the European Union.
That's exactly what
But it isn't billed as such.
No. They would use a different title, usually, yeah. Do you want to elaborate?
It's in the Republic of Ireland. It's a national vote for financial...
They're calling
stability.
It stability. It was originally called there's a big long name actually, the Fiscal Pact, I think it was called, or something like that. And as soon as the signs went up for vote yes, the government signs, they changed it to Responsibility Bill. You know.
Yes. Put a name on it. You must be responsible.
Oh yeah. You wouldn't want to not be responsible, would you?
You know, it's a funny thing you ask me. Can I explain it? Not particularly.
No.
Only I don't want to vote for it.
I explained it, I think, on the last After Hours.
I think
I'm not going to bother
It's
again.
just anything to do with voting yes to Europe in any way, shape or form, I'm opposed to.
Yeah, exactly.
Deutsches Volk, die Ruxpin Jahre.
Oh, yeah. We've
Yeah, keep it going.
We've had experience of this kind of affair before.
Mm-hmm.
He's mad, isn't he?
See, the problem is people say, well, of course I'm going to vote yes, and why shouldn't I?
Yes.
And then you've got to come up with the reasons why they shouldn't and what's wrong with it.
Yeah.
To me, it's centralising power to Europe.
Away from yourself.
Yeah, so somebody made a point to me that when the pensioners' money was cut in Ireland, they all went up and they had a big... Protest?
Yeah.
And things changed. They saw that the government actually backed down.
Wow.
That won't happen with a Central Europe.
No.
Because all decisions...
Well, where are they going to go? Brussels?
Yeah, you're not going to fly.
And if you went to Brussels, it wouldn't matter because the power's all in Germany.
Deutsches Volk, die Ruxpin Jahre.
You'll be voting yes to more septic tank charges and water charges.
Household tax.
And there'll be more to come.
Of course there will.
There'll be light bulb charges. There'll be...
window tax. Why not? Why not go the whole hog? In fact, I know. Why not? Here's a great idea. Here's a blast from the past. Why not have a German minister come to your area where you live, and then when you get married, he rapes your new bride so that your firstborn children are all sires of the German minister. I think the British lords and barons and things tried that one a while ago in Scotland and places like that. I think it went with great success.
I've got a little story for you.
Oh, go on.
Something somebody told me. They were watching
Is it a true story?
National Irish television. And
wow, did they manage to stay awake?
One of the advocates for the yes vote, Minister Noonan.
Yes.
He let something slip you might be interested to hear about.
About a revote?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
He was asked what would happen if there was a no vote, and he said, he flummoxed, and he said, we'll have to vote again?
Yeah.
Until you give us the answer we want to get.
Yeah.
Because that's what happened in Lisbon.
Yeah, yeah. I heard earlier that last week he had said that if we vote no, there will be no more money coming from Europe. Mm. But then this week he said, if we vote no, then we're going to need another bailout.
Yeah.
But a bailout is more money from Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So which one's true?
Well, it's all,
it's a pathological liar.
Wake up, people.
Seriously.
Wake up.
Can't even get his own story straight.
Well, people who lie can't, because when when you're not based on truth, you'll keep hatching yourself out.
Those people, the Irish government, if you loosely want to call them that, they are exactly what those remnants of the aristocracy and the people in France who collaborated with the Germans, that's exactly what they are. Yeah. They're collaborators with the enemy.
Correct. Absolutely correct.
And they're treasonous, traitors, black mutinous, soulless night rapes, and they should be hung, drawn, and quartered.
And our friend Nigel Farage is spreading his wings.
He is. He's leafleting, it seems,
the Republic
everybody.
of Ireland.
He's leafleting a country that he doesn't even live in or represent. And I posted it on Facebook the other day. I said, what is the state of the politics in Ireland where an English MEP has to leaflet a country he doesn't even live in to try and save them from themselves?
Yeah.
How warped is that?
This is what we say. I mean, we have nobody like that. And there's nobody like that in Ireland. I don't think there's hardly anybody like that in America. Well, apart from Ron Paul,
maybe, yeah.
But he is a constitutionally, to be fair.
He is indeed, yeah.
And it's a great document, the American Constitution.
Yeah, it was until they started amending it.
Yeah. Exactly. It's not so great now.
Not really worth the paper it's written on. I think the first rule of any constitution should be that no amendment should take away a right from the constitution, only add a right.
Oh, absolutely.
Wouldn't that be a great line on any constitution?
And do you want to get your ka-ching button ready there? Because I'm just going to mention the name.
Oh, hang on.
I know what you're like.
Oh, I actually have misplaced it.
Oh, fair enough. Well, I'll just mention it then. Something that...
Go on, I'm looking for it, but I can't find it. Go on.
David Icke.
Yes. Ka-ching. Yes, go on.
David Icke made a very good point, I think. He said when... when there's an election coming on, and the parties are canvassing and lobbying and everything else, but the promises they make, they should be contracted to adhere to when they get elected in.
Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty clever idea.
Yeah. I mean, like the Irish government, when they were in opposition, they said that they wouldn't give one more cent to Anglo-Irish Bank, and then proceeded to give them billions.
To do the opposite to everything they said they were going to do.
Yeah. They were going to renegotiate. Yeah.
And you'll find that in Britain as well, of course.
Obviously. It's the same crap.
And America.
Yeah. And they're all the same.
They're all the same.
Yes, they're an aristocracy. It's not a political party. You've got 2 parties, 3 parties if you're lucky in some countries. They're all the same.
It's a big club.
Yeah.
And you're not in it.
No, you're not in it. And you're never going to be in it because you weren't born into it.
Even if you think you are, by the way.
Yeah, you're being used.
Yeah.
Is that enough on that? Have we done that?
Well,
do you know what I want to talk about? I want to talk about sexist adverts.
Yeah.
Adverts that are sexist against men.
Most of them, I've noticed.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
And the soaps you'll find as well are very sexist against men.
Are you going to say, like...
Mr. Muscle's a classic example.
But is it portraying men as being blithering
idiots? Yeah. Oh, get away from my I'll cook your dinner by putting it in a plastic bag and shaking it dinner. Get away from that. You couldn't possibly handle that level of technology.
Yes, it's too much.
You built the Empire State Building and Tower Bridge, but you couldn't possibly shake a plastic bag with a Sunday dinner in it. I'll do that. It's just insane. If they did that with women and swapped the roles, they'd have thousands of complaints and the adverts wouldn't last a day.
Absolutely.
But apparently it's fine to portray men as blithering morons who can't boil an egg.
Incapable.
Yeah.
And unable to operate without being told what to do.
Put men on the moon, but, can't clean an oven.
Noticeable.
Yeah.
And odd.
What's that all about?
I'm not sure. Is it a program to depower men, or
it's the emasculation of men, basically.
You reckon?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Because remember, in any society, generally, in fact, not in any society, in all peoples, the men are physically bigger and more powerful than the women. That's not it's just an observation. They are. They're stronger, for the most part. And therefore, if you can get them weaker and feeling weak, because, you don't have to make them physically weak, you just have to make them believe that they're weak.
It's all psychological.
Psychological, yeah. Then, when you end up going back to things like your treaty, if you end up coming to a stage where you've got the armies of darkness marching through the port, with the 7th Panzer Division following them, then where are your men going to be? They're going to be at home, hiding behind the settee. That's what that's all about.
Psychological warfare.
Yep.
Through media.
You're in it. Yeah, that's a weapon. The media is a weapon of mass destruction.
It is. Because, we're not... It's showing us how to live.
Yeah, and telling us
how we are.
It's embarrassing you into not behaving that way. They're normalizing. They're normalizing behavior, which isn't normal.
Yeah.
And isn't... They'll invent this behavior. If they wanted to say, for example, that you should, stroke your cat backwards. If they said, if somebody sat in a room somewhere and thought, right, the key to our plans is stroking cats backwards, they'll go, right, okay, let's put some adverts on TV showing that, and then we'll drop it into the soaps, and then they will normalise something which is invented. It's not even unnatural. It's invented and manufactured, and that's what they're doing. They've come up with an idea. The idea always comes first. They have an idea, and then they have the action, and the advert is the action. The idea came up in a dark room somewhere in the shadows where you don't get to know who's in the room.
But don't you think fashion works like that?
Yeah, well, fashion's just a great sales marketing tool, isn't it?
You look at all the old photographs you have back from the 80s or the 70s and all that, and the ridiculous clothes that people were wearing, and they thought they looked fantastic.
Yeah, oh yeah. Somebody did actually explain the fashion thing to me. There was other than just to constantly sell clothes, there was actually a meaning behind it, and it's evading me at the moment.
I guess the meaning,
there's the in-depth
to constantly sell clothes, but constantly change the fashion, and constantly, so you have to bin your old stuff, and you have to get new stuff.
It's good for consumerism. But
do you see what I mean?
There's a psychological reason why fashion exists as well, and it's just I can't think of what it was. Is it something to do with people being in a constant state of change? Because remember, if you're in a state of change, you're in a susceptible state.
That's right.
Which is where any hypnotist would get you. It'd get you in a state of uncertainty and then pounce psychologically. And that's kind of, maybe you're in that state more. There is a reason for it.
Something we should cover, Mark. We talked about it. Edward Bernays, the father of modern propaganda, and we just don't do it enough. Going back to what Anthony Hilda said about Edward Heath, Edward Bernays should be dug up, put through a blender and flushed down the sewers, because he's probably responsible for more deaths than anybody else on this planet. Why?
Well, he single-handedly got women to smoke, for example.
He did.
That was a classic one of his. How many women have died of lung cancer directly because of his actions? Millions. And then where does it end? Everything else, the bad food that people eat, that's all sold using his methodologies. He is the butcher of Earth. Never mind the butcher of Seville or the bar.
When we're talking about media manipulation and things like that, a lot of his teachings and
which all incidentally came from Freud.
It came from Freud.
Freud doesn't strike me, the more I know about him, as a particularly pleasant individual.
Yeah, I find this really disturbing in our universities, how he's so reverend, Freud. And also I would say that about Malthus and Galton and a number of them. They really had very unpleasant outlooks on the world.
Yeah.
And yet they're held in such high esteem. You've got these young people going to university. And
lapping it up.
Lapping it up if Freud said it and Malthus said it, and I'm going to repeat it, and I'm going to adopt.
Must be true.
I'm going to adopt that attitude.
As my reality.
My reality.
Again, same thing. It's just advertising. You're basing your reality on a premise, on an invention, rather than any kind of empirical data.
Of some bloody weirdos.
Of some weirdos with some very weird interests and connections.
I'm 100% with you on that. I didn't look at Freud and think, oh my God, I'm getting educated. I thought, oh God, this guy's a freak. A disgusting creature.
Yeah, this guy needs a mirror.
Yeah. This guy needs a psychiatrist.
Have you got anything else on your list?
No.
Wow, well done. Well planned. I'm going to do top 5 then.
Yeah.
Right. There was a couple of top 5s I tried to do, and I couldn't actually do it. I was going to do top 5 overweight, attractive women.
Oh, right. Do you know what?
I could only come up with one.
I'll come off of it. Top 10? Top 100 more like.
I couldn't think of any.
I can't offhand.
That's my case.
Do you know why?
My number 1 was going to be Queen Latifah.
It's beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful, absolutely. But when you say overweight, you could have Beyonce on that.
Well, yeah, maybe, yeah.
She's a big girl.
I thought about her and J-Lo, but they're not really, though. I was thinking, beyond a couple of extra pounds, I was thinking, positively tubby.
Have you got anything on the list there, or just...
There was Queen Latifah, and then I gave up. And that was it. Do you want my other one?
Well, we don't have enough presented to us, do we?
I couldn't find any. I searched and searched and searched. Incidentally, if you do a search for top 5 overweight, attractive women, don't do it on Google Images, ladies and gentlemen.
Why?
It's not good.
Why?
It looks like a page full of thumbs. It's just... Wow. And definitely don't do it if you've got the filtering turned off.
Well, you could...
Wow. I'm having flashbacks.
You could class in Marilyn Monroe there, size 16, big lady, Mark.
Yeah,
big lady.
Yeah, true, yeah. Could have, yeah. I couldn't come up with them.
Queen Latifah, definitely. But what's been mentioned to me was Beyonce and J-Lo as being big ladies.
I've done top 5 1980s toys.
Oh, there's so many. Top 5?
Top 5.
Oh, there's more than that.
Well, I looked through and some of them I wasn't so fussed at. Some of these are top 5 because I had one.
I'll chip in. I don't need anything prepared for this.
The reason why these are my top 5, actually, I was going to do a top 5 of the ones that I'd had, but I'm done a top 5 of the ones I always wanted.
Okay, right. What you had was probably like a bottle and a stick.
Yeah. But the old bottle and stick. Yes. When I was a lad, we used to lick the road. Hang on. Oh, there we go.
Go on, carry on.
Lick the road. Anyway. Top 5.
Nice one.
Number 5. Didn't have one. There's an advert for it, which I think I added to our YouTube's favourites. You can find it there. Teddy Ruxpin.
Yeah. You didn't want it, though.
I think I did.
Oh.
Because it talked. It was a talking bear in 1980s. It was like, you ask it stuff and it answers you and stuff. It was freaky and weird. It was amazing. And I always wanted one.
Nice one.
Yeah. I think I still want one.
I'll get you one.
Get me one, get one. eBay. They're probably a fortune now. Number 4, Transformers.
Yeah, wow.
Never had one. They looked all right.
You were deprived.
I played with other people's Transformers. Never had one myself.
Sad. You know that there's new Transformers out now.
I imagine they're probably equally as good as the film.
There's like a massive market for Transformers, vintage and all this kind of thing. Yeah.
Number 3, Viewmaster.
I had one.
I wanted one of them.
They were pretty good.
It was a red thing. And you had like a rotary dial, a disc of slides, and you held it up to the light, and you looked through it, and you'd get like a collection of images of London or the pyramids or, fish and stuff, all sorts of stuff.
Or TV programs.
Yeah, there was all sorts. And you could get these discs, and I think you can probably still buy them. I think they still sell them in Argos. And never had one. Always wanted
nearly
one.
Everybody had one of those.
Yeah,
they weren't the hardest one to get. They were pretty cheap.
They were cheap. Never had one. Never had one.
Feeling sorry for you now.
Number 2 was the Big Track. Do you know what it is?
No.
It was a space rover about that long, about a foot long, and it was white with some red and brown stripes down the side, and you could type in on the top the coordinates, and it sort of drove.
Oh, wow.
It had got tracks on the side, and it drove. It was like 5 paces forward and 3 paces left, and you could send it into the kitchen, and then your mum could put coffee on it. There was a little cup holder with it.
I do.
And then you could tell it to come back and retrace its journeys and stuff.
I wondered, did it really work?
It did. I'd seen one. I'd seen somebody else had one. I played with somebody else. It was brilliant. Never had one.
No.
Number 1.
Why not a top 5 of stuff you never had?
I'll do that next one. Yeah. Oh, no, you know what your number top 5 would be, wouldn't it? Yeah. Like girlfriends, friends,
life,
life, something to do, hobbies, money, sexual prowess.
Yeah, the list is endless.
Let's make it a top 10.
Still the same.
Number 1. Now, I've put 2 things on number 1. One of them, I'm not sure if it exists. It was like an urban legend in the 1980s that it existed. So I've put it on because I never had one, but I don't know if anybody ever did. Maybe you can write in. Please write in. Number 1, the one that I know does exist is a NES, Nintendo Entertainment System. Never had one.
I think I had one.
No, never had one. I had a Sega Master System and I had the old Atari 2600. Never had a NES.
I got one when all the new stuff came in. Somebody gave me an old one.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about at the time.
Oh, no, at the time,
yeah,
no.
I never had one of them. I always wanted one of those, but I had everything else, but not that one.
SNES, is it?
Well, no, NES. Before SNES. SNES was the Super Nintendo.
Yeah,
this was Nintendo. It was the big square-looking thing. But my number 1, which I'm not sure if it exists, is the Star Wars toy of the Death Star.
Oh, wow.
Everybody said that there was one. Never seen one. I even looked on eBay before we came on to see if I could find one for sale. Couldn't find one. No, I found a modern, smallish one, but people used to tell me that there was like a big one with levels.
There's a tall one. It does exist.
Does it?
Yeah. I've seen pictures of it.
Ah. I looked everywhere.
Because there was most of the ships were made, weren't they?
Oh, yeah, I had an AT-AT, an AT-AT.
You didn't?
I did.
You spoiled little brat.
Yeah.
You didn't have one of those.
I had Slave 1, Boba Fett's ship.
Oh, my God.
I had the Imperial Walker, the little one from Return of the Jedi, and you pressed your thumb on the back and the legs walked.
Right.
That was good.
No, I had that one because it was cheaper.
I had 2 speeders.
Yeah.
Which blew apart.
I didn't have the AT-AT, though, because that was really...
I had the AT-AT.
Mind you, I had a Millennium Falcon.
I had a Millennium Falcon as well.
I'll swap you mine. Just bring them all in.
Yeah, and I had all of the characters bar about 4, which I then proceeded to throw in the bin.
That was hard going. And you made a big mistake there, because there was
a fortune.
A lot of money.
No.
I know. Try buying them on eBay now.
I know.
That's all I can say to you.
I had them all, and not only did I have them all, I had them all from Star Wars up to Return of the Jedi.
Did you sling them all in the bin?
Yep.
Seriously, why?
I was a kid and I'd had enough of them.
Oh, wow. I'm a bit surprised you didn't have Castle Grayskull there.
I looked at Castle Grayskull, but it was more of a girl's toy. It looked like a Barbie house.
Grayskull.
It looked like a Barbie house or something.
Castle Grayskull.
Yeah, like a girly toy.
Did
you have one?
I had a picture of one. I had a picture of it that I used to look at. Honestly, I used to look at a picture of it because I never got it.
Oh, hang on. I've got to play the music again.
Last stop on Clarence was old Ma Peggotty's place.
Where we used to get Castle Grayskull and Lick Road.
Top of the world.
I'm trying to think. Oh, there was dozens more. In America, G.I. Joe was enormous.
Yeah, well, we had Action Man. It was the same product, but it was called Action Man.
No, Action Man went to 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
In the 80s.
No, it was the same toy.
Yeah, but they made it... No, G.I. Joe I'm talking about is a small one with loads and loads and loads of vehicles.
Really?
We didn't really have it in Britain. They had that in America.
Oh, right, I didn't know that.
And there was something called...
Oh, like a Star Wars type figure, but G.I. Joe's a small one.
Again, actually, it's interesting that G.I. Joe had... like the holy grail of toys as well, of play sets. It was basically, what do you call it? A carrier,
an aircraft carrier.
An aircraft carrier.
Oh my God!
But it was as big as bigger than the table here.
Wow, that's what you want.
And they say that's one of the most number one sought after things. Other than the Death Star, which was a tall cardboard thing, if I remember.
Oh, no, I was thinking... No, I heard it was a big plastic one with panels that took off.
There was no such thing.
I think I saw a picture of one. I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
I think it might have existed.
There was a cardboard thing that had the...
No, this was plastic, and it had got panels that you could take off. Not like on the Millennium Falcon, you could take a panel off and go inside.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Well, the Death Star was big and round, and you could do that with it. So I hear.
No, I've never heard of that.
Why they didn't make a Death Star? They made everything else.
What else?
They must have.
In the 80s, there was Thundercats.
Yeah. Go on.
Rainbow Bright, which you probably had.
Rainbow Bright. God, I remember that. God, that was terrible.
There was a good few girls. There was My Little Pony.
Again, My Little Pony.
You probably had that.
Yeah, My Little Pony, yeah. Oh, I'll tell you what I did like.
Have you got any of the ships left from the Star Wars?
I've got nothing. I threw them all away.
Oh, God, what a waste.
Do you know what I also
Can we buy them again off of eBay?
Let's do it. Let's play with them here. We'll get a webcam in.
Look at us having fun. We can hang them from the ceiling in the studio.
Oh, I did that in my house. I put them up with drawing pins, and they stayed up for about a week, and then they started falling.
They didn't just slap down, though?
Yeah.
Oh, they did?
Clang!
Oh.
Yeah. They were quite strong, though, toys back then.
Yeah, they were better made.
Do you know what I want? Do you know what I liked? That Play-Doh thing where the hair comes out of his head. That barber shop. You used to turn
Play-Doh.
it. Yeah. And you got a little man, and you turned it, and then the hair came out of his head.
It was called plasticine.
No, this was a Play-Doh, but it was called Play-Doh.
Oh, I remember you had the plastic.
I remember plasticine, but this came out of his head, and that was
actually,
quite
I'd say one of the best things ever invented was Lego.
Yeah, I had lots of Lego.
For imagination,
when I was younger.
it's fantastic. It got the mind.
I play Minecraft.
Occupied.
It's a computer game, online game, and it's like Lego.
You play it now?
I still play. I was playing it this morning.
Is it good?
Yeah.
All right.
Unlike all other computer games, you don't kill anybody.
Oh, I know.
You actually build things. It's a creative game.
Do you know how stressful Medal of Honor is?
Reasonably.
I sweated like a pig. I was in the trenches when I used to play that.
Back in the day.
I used to take it really seriously.
Back in the day when you were in the
I couldn't
trenches.
help it. I used to get stressed out.
Post-traumatic stress disorder. I've got PTSD. You don't know, man. You weren't there.
Yeah, really.
What a senseless war, man.
Great game, by the way. I recommend it.
Yeah, I played that quite a lot.
Yeah.
But
as you say, a lot of killing and a bit stress. But they train military guys now through games like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they do. Yeah. Minecraft is it's a game. Basically, you just build stuff. It's like Lego. You've got loads of different blocks.
I like it. Yeah.
It's a bit more technical than Lego because you've got you can do some basic wiring and stuff like that and make things move. But you basically log onto a server. It's like a big world, and everybody else can come and see what you've done. Cool. And they come and have a look, and they go, "Oh, look at that! That's good."
Hey, do you know? I've lost track a bit with online reality things. I think there was some kind of afterlife or
Second Life.
Second Life.
Yeah, this is kind of like that, but you build more stuff. Second Life was more about taking your clothes off and finding women.
Can you explain to me what Second Life really?
It literally is that. It's a virtual world online. There are shops that sell virtual products and real products.
Wow.
That you can have delivered to you, and they have a virtual shop. You can literally walk around and look at your products and pick them and then pay for them.
But when you meet women, you're never going to meet them.
Not really, no.
Only in a virtual...
No. She's probably 40 stone, lives in Idaho.
Yeah.
It's... Nah.
Not a great place to hook up. I tried it. I downloaded it to see what it was all about.
Yeah, I tried it, and it was awkward. It was really hard to use and slow and sluggish.
Yeah, and weird.
Yeah. I tried it, and I wanted to like it, but I just couldn't bring myself to it. It was just rubbish. So, yeah, that was my...
Hard enough to do one life, never mind Second Life.
I've got another top 5.
Oh, nice.
This is actually... Let me just count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Top 8. I found these on crack.com, I think it was. I robbed them from there. They were the top 8, or should I say bottom 8, protesters' signposts.
Oh, right.
Protesters have stuff on signs.
Okay.
I'll read them as best I can. There's a couple of them got swearing, so I'm going to gloss over those to a degree. Number 8 says, his signpost, now I know this works better visually, but there you go. His sign says, "I am a little upset." Which I quite like.
I'm quite angry.
Yeah. Number 7, "Down with this sort of thing."
That's Father Ted. Did you know that?
Yeah.
That's Father Ted.
Is it really? Yeah. Oh, well, this was a real one. "I can't believe I'm still effing protesting this shit."
Yeah. Well, everybody feels
still
like
doing
that.
It, yeah. This one is my personal favourite. I shaved my balls for this, ?
Is one form of protesting.
I'm not sure what the merit.
I mean, John Lennon went to bed for peace.
Yeah. God hates signs. That movie sucked.
What is that? Oh, Signs.
There was a movie with Mel Gibson.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, but it's quite funny because it was written on a sign.
Yeah.
God hates signs.
Yeah.
That movie.
That's confusing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bad film.
It was terrible. It could have been so much more. It was rubbish. End Glee theme nights.
Oh, yeah.
One of them says.
Please, let's
Glee
do
theme
that,
nights.
because that is damaging to the population.
Here's a good one. This is my number 2. On behalf of Christians, sorry for the big angry signs.
What does that mean?
Well, whenever you see a protest somewhere, I don't know, an abortion clinic or something else that's perfectly acceptable, the religious fanatics have got their big signs saying, you will burn in hell and all this kind of stuff, and God tells you this and God tells you that. And he's basically apologising for their big angry signs.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Somebody has to.
Number 1, not quite as entertaining as some of the others, but, quite good. Don't be a douche. Apparently that's the number 1.
Oh, I think that is the number 1, everybody. Don't be a douche.
Yeah, just stop being a douche.
Be nicer to one another.
Yeah.
Hey?
Just, work it out.
It's just as easy to be nice.
Yeah.
In fact, it's easier.
Barely.
It takes less muscles to smile than it does to frown.
Do you know where these urban legends start?
That's not an urban. Oh, is it? Is it?
No, I made that up. But it probably should have been, and it would have been you.
No, it's true.
You're like a repeater node for urban legends.
I like a repeater node for the positive stuff.
Oh God, vomiters! Pass me a bucket.
Vomitus Maximus.
Yeah. Good grief. All right, do you want to talk about the guests that we've got coming on?
Oh, definitely. I think that's really what the show needs to be about today.
I'll bring up the list there so you can have a good look.
The guests are just getting overwhelming.
We've got some super cool guests.
The quality we've had has been fantastic.
Yeah. And somehow we just seem to be doing better and better. Go on, do you want to do one? June 15th, Robert Farrell, UFO investigator. He's kind of the more science end of it. When he says investigator, I think he means investigator.
So he's really investigating from a scientific standpoint?
Yeah. June 11th, Dan Willis on alien intervention and media manipulation. Alien disclosure, should I say. He was a big speaker at the press conference, the Press Association one.
That you mentioned, the media manipulation, that's cover-up of UFO activities.
Yeah, he reckons that there's been a lot more going on and the media are covering it up.
Well, the media have got this thing now of promoting UFOs and then denying it.
Yeah,
saying they exist.
Strange, yeah,
they don't
the tabloids
exist.
are particularly big on it. We've got just booked Simon Parkes, July 2nd.
Now, I lined up Simon Parkes. He's the most interesting gentleman.
Yeah, you describe him, because I don't know as much about him as you do.
Well, he's been... he's had aliens visiting him since the age of 3.
And they continue to?
And they continue... I don't know if they're continuing to, but most of his life. And he's able to give such a clear... it's not that he's been knocked out on the table. He's talking to them; they're talking to him, and he's able to say what they say to him. Yeah. And he's got some different names on aliens.
Yes, the lion head type of lion.
Something we haven't heard.
New one on me.
I think he mentions reptoids. Does he?
He does. Yes, yeah.
They seem to forever pop up.
AlternativeFutureRadio.com is our website. You can see a picture of him there holding a large owl. It's worth going to the website just for the owl.
His mother worked for MI5.
Yeah.
And he claims MI5 are involved also.
Yeah, I've heard lots of people saying stuff like that.
Yeah, he's going to be very good.
June 29th. This is how far in front we're booking, everybody. We're booked into July.
Yeah,
Dean
get
Collinson.
in now if you want to come in on the show.
Yeah, get in the queue. Dean Collinson. He is a bishop. I think he's a high bishop, I think he said, actually, of the Raelian organization, we'll call it. I believe it's a religion. It has been called a cult. I'll call it an organisation until he comes on and clarifies it, because I'm not really sure what they do. I'm not sure. And it's actually got an alien connotation. Their leader, if you like, or the person who started it, he claims to have been visited or taken away with aliens. And they came back and I assume they gave him some sort of imparted knowledge on him, which we've heard mention other people saying the same thing. He came back, started this, and these people are all now following his teachings.
Well, we were chatting about it earlier. The thing with the UFO, not abduction, but what would you call it if it's not
interaction?
Interaction or whatever. It's you haven't got one person, you haven't got 10. You haven't got 100. There seems to be thousands.
Loads and loads and loads. For everyone that's happy to talk in front of a camera or a mic, there's probably 1,000 that are too shy.
And you've got to remember
there's probably 10,000 behind them that don't even admit it.
Because it took a lot of work and a lot of wrangling on our behalf, our part to get some of these people.
Yeah, some of them are relatively cagey. They're not overly, because they're not sure if they're going to get ridiculed or whatever, which is fair enough.
Not on this show.
Not on this show, no. God, people come on here and ridicule us. I still have memories of Justin Mainhart name-calling you.
That's right. And
what did he call you again?
I can't say it on air. And Jonathan Downs.
Yeah, Jonathan Downs.
Seems to be a theme.
Yeah.
Our guests come on to abuse us.
In fairness, you did think that...
it was the Hong Kong
you did
Japan
think that Godzilla came from Hong Kong.
That annoyed him.
I've got another thing to reveal to you as well. Oh. The other day, when we were talking to Kevin Annett...
it's the repatriation, reparation, wasn't it? Yeah,
that's the word.
Which was it? What was the wrong word?
You kept saying repatriation.
And what did he say?
Well, the correct word is reparation, meaning to pay them some money.
Yeah, I know,
you kept saying repatriation.
I was going to move them.
Yeah, you're going to move the victims of abuse.
Going to move them where they couldn't say anything anymore. Yeah. Sorry, Kevin.
And I didn't stop you.
You should have done.
It was so funny.
I think he was saying it too.
Yeah.
I confused him so
don't
much.
think
He
so.
started. No?
No, I think he's above that.
9/11.
9/11, June 4th, Andrew Johnson returns to the show, ladies and gentlemen. We like Andrew Johnson.
Oh, we like.
He's got a lot to say.
And he's a very busy man. He's giving a lot of.
He's doing talks. He's doing one today, actually. I think he's on our schedule list.
He's doing a lot of talks.
Yeah.
And,
He's doing a talk on, I think, one of those Hollow Earth theories, actually, I think, if I remember correctly.
We're very, very fortunate to have him on the show because he is very, very busy.
He does a lot of those kinds of things, but he's come on to talk about 9/11 and his version of events.
And it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, there are lots of people out there who say that it wasn't obviously the official story, which not that many people believe,
talk
I don't think.
about whether it's thermite or...
Yeah, some people say they were knocked down. I think, I've heard him talk about this before, I think his rationale is a little bit more space-based.
Microwave weapons, let's just say no more.
Yeah. June 25th. Sean Billig. First-hand account of alien encounters.
Account.
And I don't think he's spoken on any show before. I get the impression this is fairly new for him. He's going to come on and give us the skinny.
Because as we say, there's many, many thousands of people with these stories, but they just don't want to be ridiculed in public.
No,
So
exactly.
it's very
And you can imagine what they'd get if they turned up on the Larry King show or something like that, or the Sky News or something.
This Morning.
They just get the, whatever ripped. June 18th, Stephen Bassett, bigwig in the Alien Disclosure department. He's well known for that kind of thing. Also spoke at the Press Club meeting, the big one.
Paradigm Research Group.
Yeah. He's got a few websites. ParadigmResearchGroup.org. DisclosurePetition.info. They had a petition, I think, to get Obama to make a statement about their connection or any connections they may have got with extraterrestrial life, which I think, if I remember correctly, they succeeded in doing. And the White House issued a statement, you may have read it, it was only last year, I think, or early this year, saying we have not and never had any communication with blah, 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 blah. As you'd imagine, they'd say. And apparently now they're on to petition 2, I think, or petition 3, to ask about more specific questions, I think. So that's cool. That should be interesting. We're still talking to Andrew Di We're hoping to get him on.
We're still negotiating with him, but we're pretty sure he's...
We've got him penciled in June, but June's actually booked, so we may have to have a special for him.
Hurry up, Andrew.
A special.
Get your finger out.
May 28th, Paul Westwood returns of Big Cat fame.
What we're talking about this time, we're talking about
Dr. David
mysterious
Kelly.
death of Dr. David Kelly.
The rather curious case.
Was it suicide?
Was he suicided? Yeah. Lots of dubious evidence on that particular case. I'm sure we'll go into that in detail. Oh, June 20th, one of yours.
Another one of mine.
One of yours.
Ali Cheslick.
Cheslick, yeah.
Psychic outlaw. Why is she a psychic outlaw, by the way?
I was talking to her on Skype the other day, and she said that she has been described as the psychic outlaw. And I went, that's exactly what I'm going to bill you as.
She's a medium.
If I just put psychic medium, that sounds a bit, it's a bit run-of-the-mill on this show, to be honest.
From New York City, and she's a medium.
Yep.
And she also has her own radio show as well.
She does,
I understand. And she's a lovely lady.
Yes, she's quite nice.
I want to ask her a few questions about communicating with the other side.
Yes.
And what happens and who she's talking to and...
What's she up? What's she talking about, Willis?
Could she contact Arnold for us?
That'd be brilliant.
Who knows? We'll ask her.
We need to get somebody who can do that channeling thing. I don't know much about this, excuse my ignorance, where they channel the other person. If we could channel...
I've seen it done. Sammy Davis Jr.
Really?
Well, somebody channeled Sammy Davis Jr. and his eyes went all wonky and his head started because he was doing Sammy Davis's sort of movements.
Yeah. Couldn't we get the guy from...
There's something I'm curious about with mediums. Why don't they contact more celebrities?
Famous people, yeah. Elvis, that's who we want to talk to.
Yeah, Lennon.
Yeah, why not?
Arnold.
Yeah.
A whole lot of them.
Yeah.
We'll ask her.
June 1st.
Ooh, biggie.
Dr. Carol Rosen, everybody. Yeah, that should be entertaining and informative.
We've mentioned Dr. Carol quite a bit on this show,
quite a bit.
We'll just move on there.
We've got Ben.
Somebody coming back, our old friend.
June 8th, our old buddy Ben Emlyn Jones coming to talk about secret societies and media manipulation.
Administrator of our Facebook page.
Practically. yeah, we basically just handed it over.
Because Ben was on it more often than we were.
That is true. the height of slacker.
Yeah.
Oh, and then last but not very least, May 25th.
Another up-and-comer.
Yeah, Ashwin Farinachi, I think that's pronounced. Alien contactee given special knowledge and an end times message.
I wonder what that could be.
End of time, one would assume.
End of times?
End of the earth?
Merely the beginning?
Dunno.
Let's hope.
He said end times message were his exact words.
Oh, we've heard a lot about the end times on this program.
We've had
from a lot of different sources.
Yeah. We need to try and get some more of these people on who talk about
Is that
things.
it?
That's it. That's enough.
That's a lot. I thought we were going to be here all day talking about the guests we're
having.
That's
quite a lot. What do you want?
And thanks to all our previous guests as well. Thank you to Kevin Annett.
Yeah.
Sorry that the line was so bad.
Yeah, the audio was pretty cramped there. The audio was...
and I was so disappointed about that.
Yeah.
And
it was listenable, though, I think.
Very, very, very lovely Colleen Thomas.
Colleen was brilliant. We've got to get Colleen back on again.
She said she'd come back on.
Yeah, we'll maybe get her in late July since we've got no slots.
And there were so many more, and we've spoken to so many people, haven't we?
I can't even, just loads.
Yeah.
I've got my hard drive is just filling up with MP3s.
It's fantastic.
On this day, ladies and gentlemen. Shall I do on this day?
Good idea.
Not a particularly eventful day in history, to be honest. Some stuff not too bad. Some stuff, some of it's a bit lame. Glossing over some of this here. Blah, 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 blah. 1984, villagers die in a water plant blast in Lancashire, in England. I have no idea of the ins and outs of that. I just thought it sounded quite crazy that there'd be an explosion in a water plant.
Wouldn't expect it either, would you?
Wouldn't be the tradition.
No.
I wish I knew what caused it, but I didn't do any research.
It's a water plant, some kind of pressure and pipes, electricity.
4 people dead, dozens more injured.
Sad.
Wow.
Sad.
1966, emergency laws were introduced in the United Kingdom over the Seamen's strike countdown. The British government declares a state of emergency a week after the nation's seamen begin striking. They're not striking. I knew I couldn't get through that line.
Siemens the computer company, is it? Or
people who work at sea?
Oh.
That wouldn't... What, a computer company? They're going to bring the country to a state of emergency?
You hear all kinds of nonsense in the media.
Seriously. But my point is that...
Seafaring men.
Yes, men of the sea, salty sea dogs. 1966, Britain was under emergency law as recently as that. Bear that in mind. It didn't take much.
It's all there.
If the tanker drivers had gone out on strike, that would probably have resulted in emergency law as well.
But you know about in Britain, every county council in Britain has an emergency plan.
Of course they do, yeah.
For a nuclear war.
Yes, yeah.
Please
stay in your homes. Yeah.
But they've got their systems of communication underground, and they've got supplies and their own power supplies. So to keep government going in the event of a catastrophe.
Yeah, the continuation of government. Yeah,
it's very prevalent in the UK. I'm not sure about the Republic of Ireland.
Don't know as much.
I doubt it. Let's put it that way. No. They're too busy just making off with the riches.
True.
Yeah.
Happy National Day if you're in Morocco, everybody.
Lovely.
And also...
We've probably got quite a few listeners.
Happy Linnaeus Day to anybody in Sweden.
Wow, nice.
Not heard of that one? New one on me. 1833, Henry VIII's marriage to Catherine of Aragon was declared null and void, everybody. Yep. Benjamin Franklin announced his invention of bifocals in 1785.
I don't know if everybody's quite aware of that.
Yeah, well, they are now.
Quite an inventor,
Ben Franklin invented the bifocal in 1785. Italy declared war on the Austria-Hungarian Empire, World War I. 1934, Wallace Carruthers invented nylon at the DuPont Company.
Correct.
Yes. 1949, the Federal Republic of Germany, West Germany, that is, came into being. 1960, Israel announced the arrest after the abduction from Argentina of Adolf Eichmann, who had been responsible for organising the Germans' mass extermination of Jews in World War II.
Wiesenthal was on the trail of Eichmann.
I assume that's who it was. Yeah, it doesn't say in my little news snippet, but I imagine that's who it was. They did an extraordinary rendition on him. Tamerlane the Great, Mongolian leader. He was born today.
Nice.
What do you think about that? These people, never heard of any of them. Let's just move on.
Isn't it interesting, the days in history where some are quite more...
Some are great, some of them are a bit lame. Yeah.
It's like what Paul Gershio was saying, almost, like events happening.
Yeah, like a harmonic of each other. Multiples.
Big events happen at the same time, and smaller events happen at the same time.
1928, Rosemary Clooney was born. American singer, actress. Now, we've got an interesting death, at least. We've got 3 interesting deaths. Number 3, John D. Rockefeller. He died, 1937.
Yep, Grandad Rockefeller.
Yeah. 1945, Heinrich Himmler. He died.
He died in custody, didn't he?
I believe, yeah. Was he executed?
I think so. He was either executed, or he bit down on a cyanide pill.
He died in 45, so it wouldn't have been Nuremberg. I don't think they tried them that quick, did they?
No, maybe not. No, they went on quite a while, didn't they?
Yeah. So hopefully he just, killed himself. Lovely. 1934, Bonnie and Clyde, both shot dead at a police ambush in Gibbsland, Louisiana.
You had the movie with Faye Dunaway and...
God, what's his name?
It's a bad one, wasn't it?
I can't remember his name. I hate him.
Funny
guy.
Warren Beatty.
Warren Beatty, who seriously thought that... I know... Let's cast Warren Beatty as the star of our next big picture. Who thought that?
Do you find him a boring actor?
He's dull as dishwater.
I don't get it.
I want to talk about Aliens.
I think it's a bloody good idea, considering...
Not much, though. Now, I want to ask some of our guests that are coming up about this. I sent this information to one of our guests, Dan Willis, to see what he thought about it. I'll see what he comes back with. Somebody passed this to me, and it's a little bit old now. It's a year old, but it's not very well known, I don't think. In front of you there, I'm holding up NSA Technical Journal, Volume 14, Number 1, approved for release by the National Security Agency November 21st, 2004, under a Freedom of Information request, case number 41472. This information is key to extraterrestrial messages.
Right.
You can go to the NSA's website and download this. This is not a fake.
But
unless the NSA faked it.
The National Security Agency would take UFOs seriously enough.
Bear with me.
Oh.
This gets weirder
I'm going to
weirder.
let you go with this. Go on.
Right. I don't know what the actual ultimate content of the messages was, but this entire page, this booklet, shows you how to decode the messages. We'll call them the messages until I explain where they came from.
Okay.
The messages, right? And it shows you how to use it as a key and what each letter means and so on and so forth. But what they've not done is published the actual message itself or the source so you could work it out. This is only the How We Decoded It booklet. So it's a bit annoying because we didn't get to see the actual full message. There's some stuff here listed, but really, I've not really got the time to go through it. It's quite big. Maybe somebody's got one. This is where it gets weird. These messages are reported to have been broadcast by the Sputnik satellite that the Russians launched in, 1960 or something. Yeah. Say something. Say, ooh, that's interesting.
That's interesting.
Yeah, finally.
What's the big deal about the Sputnik satellite?
Well, some people have said the Sputnik was only a transmitter. It didn't have a receiver, so how the hell did it receive these signals to then go on to retransmit them? Which is a fair point, to be honest. But it was on the same frequency as the Sputnik, that much we know. It's very, very elaborate. And it's listed on the NSA's archives as key to the extraterrestrial messages. And it is, in fact, a key. It's by... it's Dr. I think it's a doctor, actually. R. Champagne is his name, which sounds a bit like a fake name, to be honest. But
why is it familiar, though?
I've no idea.
It's a familiar name.
It's weird. It is very, very strange. And it's very... I mean, the code itself is too elaborate to be just done for a laugh. Now, I mean, the NSA, they've got code breakers and code makers, so they could do that for a laugh. But I don't really know if they'd want to bother. You know, they're getting paid by the taxpayer, and would the taxpayer really want them to be arsing about like that just for our benefit? I don't think so. But it is weird. Google it.
What a good find.
Yeah.
We've been talking about the NSA a bit lately. They seem to be popping up here and there.
They pop up all over the place, they do.
It's with Colleen Thomas, she mentioned them.
Yeah, true. I mean, we must ask her about that, see if she's got anything to say. 2,300 birds were found dead along the Chilean beaches. I think it was last week. I've had this on my little blog for a while. Yeah, 12th of May. This article's dated. They're blaming it on all sorts of things. Warm water off Peru chased away the fish, and the birds have starved. And fish flee south to deeper, cooler waters. Blah 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 blah. It goes on and on. Trapped in nets, all that kind of stuff. Doesn't really add up.
But what about the time when they just dropped out of the sky?
Now, get this. That happened in, I think it was Georgia in America, on New Year's Eve, and it happened again the New Year's after.
That's a bit odd.
What's that all about?
That is strange.
I was looking into this the other day. I was trying to...
I didn't know there was any, correlation with the dates.
Yeah.
And I knew they dropped out of the sky.
New Year's Eve, and they did it in exactly the same place 1 year later to the day.
And still no explanation.
Nope. There was mention of phosgene gas, which Colleen Thomas talked about, actually. It's some sort of gas that I'm not sure where it comes from. Is it natural, or is it...
Is she talking about chemtrail gas?
No, it was coming from the ground. And she reckoned that it had gone up into the air, and that had poisoned the birds, and they'd fallen out of the sky.
Somebody else
had
mentioned testing microwave weapons and things like that, and sound weapons.
If you look on Google Earth, where these birds, the ones that you're talking about, the blackbirds, I think they were crows or something, or blackbirds or starlings or something. Yeah. If you look at where they are, they actually fell onto an interstate. I think it was I-95 or something. And look where they are. It's in the middle of an urban zone. I looked around the whole area to see if there was any military bases or anything anywhere near. There's nothing. So why they'd be testing microwave weapons next door to a wines and spirits shop, I don't know. It sounds unlikely.
Because they'd be a bit worried that they might...
it would be a bit obvious. People might see them, would be my thoughts.
Unless it could be done from a distance.
Well, when you go into science fiction, it can be, yeah.
Well, it's all science fiction until it's science fact.
Yeah, usually works the other way around. They were these ones in Chile. They were from several different species. They got broken wings and bruising. That's what led them to say that they'd been trapped in nets. Loads of different theories, climate, cold water, warm water, less food, blah, 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 blah. Earlier this week, Peruvian authorities say warm waters off the country's coast are to blame for the deaths of more than 5,000 marine birds. And on the front of the headline, it only talks about 2,300, so there are yet more that have died. Officials in Peru continue to search for the cause of death for almost 900 dolphins since the beginning of this year. Dolphins.
900 dolphins.
Yeah. There was turtles as well, also died in South America. I think that might have been Peru, or was it Argentina?
They're saying that's something to do with the water.
They've got a lot of different reasons. Some of them sound more plausible than others. None of them sound concrete, to be honest.
It doesn't happen very often, does it? 900 dolphins.
I know that the echolocation system, the sonar that they use on submarines, perturbs dolphins no end, because it's like a very loud noise to them. And they're going to go in the exact opposite direction and possibly beach themselves, but they can't all be explained away by submarines.
Wasn't a mass suicide?
No. It wasn't the Dolphin Kool-Aid Brigade.
Because we were talking about cults. No, that's not nice. But dolphins are lovely creatures.
I like dolphin.
Yeah, everybody likes dolphins.
Tastes like marlin.
They can be quite dangerous. They did kill a woman.
Did they?
In the one of those water parks, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They can have a...
I often worry about those things because, I don't really think that such intelligent animals belong in water parks and things like that.
No,
and you often wonder whether or not they actually do it on purpose.
It's a purely American thing, isn't it?
Yeah, don't have them anywhere else.
We don't get it.
No. Let's have a look here. Do you want some weird stuff?
Yeah, why
I'm
not?
going to give you... I had a big list of the top 10 weird things, and I'm just going to quickly do this because we're about out of time. The number one weirdest thing, which I didn't cover the other week, was the giant Lego man.
Oh, nice.
Have you heard of this?
No.
Giant Lego man of Siesta Key Beach. Get this. Shortly after, the English Lego man washed up a Dutch artist named Ego Leonard. So if you take his first name and his second name, it is second initial, it's Lego. He began an exhibition in London. Basically, it was like a publicity stunt, some people say. But then, somewhat stranger, another Lego man washed up. I think the first one was in England. Giant Lego man with broken English. Oh, here we are, yeah. Giant Lego men with broken English on their shirts have been washing up on shores since 2007. First in Holland and then later in England. And apparently the guy in Holland is attributed to the Dutch one as a advert for his art. He was an artist. He was a publicity stunt. But then one washed up in England, which is a little bit of a logistic...
That they're made of Lego.
It's a little bit logistically awkward when you see them. I'll try and show you a picture of one. Look.
Oh.
Look at the size of it.
Oh, my God. They're not made of Lego. What this is the little... the little Lego man that comes in your packet of Lego.
Yeah.
But it's a bloody giant one.
8 feet tall.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And look at the English on it. What does it say on the shirt?
No real than you are.
Exactly. Broken English. Right?
That's fantastic.
It's weird. Oh, it gets weirder. It gets weirder. Right, let me just find the beginning of my story. I lost my page now.
Do you know on the little Lego vehicle, and you'll have a little man that you can put on it?
With his little round head.
Well, this Lego man that's washed up is the same as that, and he's, as Mark says, 8 foot tall.
Yeah, it's massive. They must weigh half a ton.
Just hold on there. How could you even make something like that?
Surely somebody would notice.
It's perfect, isn't it?
But then it gets weird. In 2011, another one then has now washed up on Siesta Key Beach in Florida. So there's one in Holland, one in England, and one in Florida. This is where it gets weird. Now, they say that even if this artist did do the first one for a publicity stunt, the second one would have cost him a fortune to ship. You've seen the size of it. It's as big as a motorbike, for example. It's big thing.
Almost as big as a car, isn't it?
Yeah, big, massive thing. Yeah. It would have cost him a fortune to ship it to England.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you could say, well, maybe one of them got washed into the sea in Holland and ended up in England. Maybe.
What are the chances?
Possible.
Yeah.
You could say that. But it ended up in England upright in the beach. So, obviously, it was put there. Then, one turns up in Florida. Now, you can imagine how much it would cost to ship a Lego man to Florida. This artist is only known in Holland. He's nobody outside Holland. So why would he send one to Florida where nobody knows him anyway? And, so that one's in Florida. Now, here is where it gets a little bit weird. There are if you get the 3 locations that they've been found and draw a line between them, right? I'll read it out here where it says, however, the really weird thing is that if you... get the 3 locations where all the points of the same diagonal line, it's a diagonal line, you work out the timing between them. This is where it gets weird. Apparently, we can expect the next Lego man to wash up ashore on Porto Vallarta in 2013, right? Get this. And if it washes up on that shore, that means that the Lego man, on his little journey... which means he'll be passing through the old Mayan territory of central Mexico during the predicted Mayan apocalypse of 2012. If he's on a journey, he's going to be on the Mayan grounds on December 21st, 2012.
Even the Lego men are getting involved. But how on earth would you make something like that? A replica of the small Lego man, but in giant,
I have no idea. It's just weird.
Towering over a human.
Yeah. Look, there's a little picture there of the little plot.
Yeah.
His course.
Oh, yeah, it's charting its course. So, yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
So...
You need to put up that picture of the Lego man on the website.
I'll put a link or something on it.
Just to give people an idea of the size of it.
Yeah, I'll use that for the picture.
People in Saudi Arabia.
So funny.
So donate us a bit of money for our Star Wars collection.
Yeah. We need. We were thinking about what we could have for donations. I think I put the donate button back on the website.
We want to get busy on eBay. We need some AT-ATs. We need a Millennium Falcon.
We need AT-AT. We need Millennium Falcon. I want another Slave one because I quite like the last
Slave
one I had.
Slave pretty neat.
Slave one's cool. Want to get all the figures back.
X-Wing.
Oh, X-Wing. I never had one of them. I always wanted one.
Oh God.
And I never had a TIE Fighter.
TIE Fighters. We need TIE Fighters.
I want a TIE Fighter.
We need your help, folks.
Hang on. And ladies and gentlemen, we need your help to bring us... Hang on. Where are we? We're going to need your help because we need a Teddy Ruxpin. Only a Teddy Ruxpin could bring the happiness and smiles back into our life.
And it would be useful because it would be another host, possibly a better one.
Host.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Until next week,
Teddy Ruxpin rocks. Bye, everybody.
From the alternative to the mainstream. From the ridiculous to the sublime, ladies and gentlemen, we bring you the audio delight that is the After Hours Show with Basil and Mark.
You know what I did the other day? I was looking at voiceover people, and I was actually going to see if I could get a voiceover done in Arabic to please our Saudi Arabian guests. You know, I found one guy who I have not got a response from yet, and that was it. They're impossible to find.
So we got the Fiscal Treaty coming up.
Fiscal Treaty, that sounds like fun.
It sounds like fun. You know, a lot of people are going to vote yes.
I think they probably are, yeah.
That's the overwhelming impression I'm getting from talking to folk.
Yeah, you might want to elaborate on what on earth the Fiscal Treaty is for anybody out there in the civilized world.
Communist takeover by the European Union.
That's exactly what
But it
I
isn't billed as such.
No. They would use a different title, usually, yeah. Do you want to elaborate?
It's in the Republic of Ireland. It's a national vote for financial...
They're calling
Stability.
it Stability. It was originally called there's a big long name, actually, the Fiscal Pact, I think it was called, or something like that. And, as soon as the signs went up for vote yes, the government signs, they changed it to Responsibility Bill, you know.
Yes, put a name on it. You must be responsible.
Oh, yeah, you wouldn't want to not be responsible, would you?
You know, it's a funny thing you ask me, can I explain it? Not particularly.
No.
Only I don't want to vote for it.
I explained it, I think, on the last After Hours.
I think
I'm not going to bother
It's
again.
just anything to do with voting yes to Europe in any way, shape or form, as opposed to...
Yeah, exactly.
Deutsches Volk, die und viele Jahre.
Oh, yeah. We've...
Ich schwöre hier, so wie wir...
Yeah, keep it going.
We've had experience of this kind of affair before.
Mm-hmm.
He's mad, isn't he?
See, the problem is people say, well, of course I'm going to vote yes, and why shouldn't I?
Yes.
And then you've got to come up with the reasons why they shouldn't and what's wrong with it.
Yeah.
To me, it's centralising power to Europe.
Away from yourself.
Yeah, so somebody made a point to me that when the pensioners' money was cut in Ireland, they all went up and they had a big...
They are exactly what those remnants of the aristocracy and the people in France who collaborated with the Germans, that's exactly what they are. They're collaborators with the enemy.
Correct. Absolutely correct.
And they're treasonous, traitors, black mutinous, soulless night rapes, and they should be hung, drawn and quartered.
And our friend Nigel Farage is spreading his wings.
He is. He's leafleting, it seems,
the Republic
everybody.
of Ireland.
He's leafleting a country that he doesn't even live in or represent. And I posted it on Facebook the other day. I said, what is the state of the politics in Ireland where an English MEP has to leaflet a country he doesn't even live in to try and save them from themselves?
Yeah.
How warped is that?
This is what we say. I mean, we have nobody like that. There's nobody like that in Ireland. I don't think there's hardly anybody like that in America. Well, apart from Ron Paul,
maybe,
But he is a constitutionalist, to be fair.
He is indeed, yeah.
And it's a great document, the American Constitution.
Yeah, it was until they started amending it.
Yeah, exactly. It's not so great now.
Not really worth the paper it's written on. I think the first rule of any constitution should be that no amendment should take away a right from the constitution, only add a right.
Oh, absolutely.
Wouldn't that be a great line on any constitution?
And do you want to get your ka-ching button ready there? Because I'm just going to mention the name.
Oh, hang on.
I know what you're like.
Oh, I actually have misplaced it.
Oh, fair enough. Well, I'll just mention it then. Something that...
Go on, I'm looking for it, but I can't find it. Go on.
David Icke.
Yes. Ka-ching. Yes, go on.
David Icke made a very good point, I think. He said when... when there's an election coming on, and the parties are canvassing and lobbying and everything else, but the promises they make, they should be contracted to adhere to when they get elected in.
Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty clever idea.
Yeah. I mean, like the Irish government, when they were in opposition, they said that they wouldn't give one more cent to Anglo-Irish Bank, and then proceeded to give them billions.
To do the opposite to everything they said they were going to do.
Yeah. They were going to renegotiate.
Yeah. And you'll find that in Britain as well, of course.
Obviously. It's the same crap.
And America.
Yeah. And they're all the same.
You're listening to Alternative Future Radio, home of the weird, resting place of the paranormal. will take you to the furthest reaches of the galaxy and beyond. Strange phenomena, aliens, psychics, cryptozoology, conspiracy, holistic health, and UFOs. Alternative Future Radio, where spooky just got weird.
From the alternative to the mainstream. From the ridiculous to the sublime. Ladies and gentlemen, we bring you the audio delight that is the After Hours Show with Basil and Mark.
Oh, yeah. Are you in, Basil? Are you in?
Good morning.
Good evening.
And good afternoon.
Oh, yeah. It's like, remember the theme tune to Mike Hammer?
Yeah.
Mickey's Bellini's Mike Hammer.
That was a weird program, Stacy Keach.
Yeah, Stacy Keach is just weird generally.
He got done for cocaine a few years later.
Did you notice he got one of those cleft lips?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
He had a moustache to try and cover it
He
up.
did. It didn't work.
It wasn't very effective.
Not really.
How are you this morning?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Good.
I'm all right.
Good week?
Generally, yeah. Busy week.
Oh, busy
weekend.
Busy with guests and organising and research.
Wow.
It's just too much.
We've got so many people lined up. We're booked out with guests until the middle of July.
And it's pressure because they're important guests.
It's not even June and we're booked until July. What the hell's going on there? What's all that about?
I don't know.
It's After Hours, everybody. Smooth.
Hello to Europe, Africa, and the Middle East.
Particularly Saudi Arabia, who listen to us in great numbers for reasons nobody understands. Please email us and let us know.
Tell us why.
Do you know protest?
Protest?
Yeah.
And things changed. They saw that the government actually backed down.
Wow.
That won't happen with a Central Europe.
No.
Because all decisions...
Well, where are they going to go? Brussels?
Yeah, you're not going to fly.
And if you went to Brussels, it wouldn't matter because the power's all in Germany.
Deutsches Volk, die Ruxpin-Jahre!
You'll be voting yes to more septic tank charges and water charges.
Household tax.
And there'll be more to come.
Of course there will.
There'll be light bulb charges. There'll be...
window tax. Why not? Why not go the whole hog? In fact, I know. Why not? Why not? Here's a great idea. Here's a blast from the past. Why not have a German minister come to your area where you live, and then when you get married, he rapes your new bride so that your firstborn children are all sires of the German minister. I think the British lords and barons and things tried that one a while ago in Scotland and places like that. I think it went with great success.
I've got a little story for you.
Oh, go on.
Something somebody told me. They were watching
It's a true story.
National Irish Television. And
wow, did they manage to stay awake?
One of the advocates for the yes vote, Minister Noonan.
Yes.
He let something slip you might be interested to hear about.
About a revote?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
He was asked what would happen if there was a no vote. And he said, he flummoxed, and he said, we'll have to vote again.
Yeah.
Until you give us the answer we want to get.
Yeah.
Because that's what happened in Lisbon.
Yeah, I know, yeah. I heard earlier that last week he had said that if we vote no, there will be no more money coming from Europe. But then this week he said, if we vote no, then we're going to need another bailout.
Yeah.
But a bailout is more money from Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So which one's true?
Well, it's all
It's a pathological liar.
Wake up, people!
Seriously,
wake up!
Can't even get his own story straight.
Well, people who lie can't because when when you're not based on truth, you'll keep hatching yourself out.
Those people, the Irish government, if you loosely want to call them that,
they're all the same.
Yes, they're an aristocracy. It's not a political party. You've got 2 parties, 3 parties if you're lucky in some countries. They're all the same.
It's a big club.
Yeah.
And you're not in it.
No, you're not in it, and you're never going to be in it because you weren't born into it.
Even if you think you are, by the way.
Yeah, you're being used.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shall we? Is that enough on that? Have we done that? Have we done that?
Well,
do you know what I want to talk about? I want to talk about sexist adverts.
Yeah.
Adverts that are sexist against men.
Most of them, I've noticed.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
And the soaps you'll find as well are very sexist against men.
Like
Mr. Muscle's a classic example.
But is it portraying men as being blithering
idiots? Yeah. Oh, get away from my I'll cook your dinner by putting it in a plastic bag and shaking it dinner. Get away from that. You couldn't possibly handle that level of technology.
Yes, it's too much.
You built the Empire State Building and Tower Bridge, but you couldn't possibly shake a plastic bag with a Sunday dinner in it. I'll do that. It's just insane. If they did that with women and swapped the roles, they'd have thousands of complaints and the adverts wouldn't last the day.
Absolutely.
But apparently it's fine to portray men as blithering morons who can't boil an egg.
Incapable.
Yeah.
And unable to operate without being told what to do.
Put men on the moon, but, can't clean an oven.
Noticeable.
Yeah.
And odd.
What's that all about?
I'm not sure. Is it a program to depower men, or
it's the emasculation of men, basically.
You reckon?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Because remember, in any society, generally, in fact, not in any society, in all peoples, the men are physically bigger and more powerful than the women. That's not it's just an observation. They are. They're stronger, for the most part. And therefore, if you can get them weaker and feeling weak, because you don't have to make them physically weak, you just have to make them believe that they're weak.
It's all psychological.
Psychological, yeah. Then, when you end up going back to things like your treaty, if you end up coming to a stage where you've got